Today, we're going to talk about how supply chains actually work in 2026. When most people think about a supply chain, they imagine a kind of sequence. A product is made, sent to a warehouse, and then delivered to a customer. That model used to be more accurate, but it doesn't reflect how things operate today. Modern supply chains are not linear, they are networks. Instead of one fixed path, there are multiple possible paths that a product can take from origin to destination. Let's start with a basic scenario where a customer places an order online. At that point, the system has to decide where that order should be fulfilled from. Now, there are several possibilities. This order could come from a central warehouse, a regional distribution center, a retail store, or even a third party partner. And the system has to evaluate these options based on several factors, such as product availability, distance to the customer, shipping costs, delivery speed, and the capacity at each location. Based on this, it selects what it determines to be the best option at that moment. Now, here's an important detail. This decision is not always permanent. If conditions change, for example, if a warehouse becomes delayed or inventory becomes unavailable, the system may reevaluate and choose a different path. So, decisions within a supply chain are dynamic, not fixed. Another key concept is that inventory itself is not static. Products are constantly being moved across a very vast network. For example, inventory may be transferred between warehouses, or products may be positioned closer to areas with higher demand, and suppliers may ship goods to different locations depending on what the need is in those locations. So the system is not just reacting to orders, but also anticipating future demand. This brings us to another important point. Supply chains rely heavily on data. Decisions are made using information about current inventory levels, order volumes, transportation times, and capacity constraints. However, this data is not always perfectly up to date because there can be delays, inconsistencies, or gaps between systems. As a result, decisions are often made using the best available information rather than perfect information, which introduces a level of uncertainty into the system. Finally, it's important to understand that all of this requires coordination across multiple systems. Each part of the supply chain, inventory, fulfillment, transportation, is typically managed by a different system. For the supply chain to function effectively, these systems need to communicate and stay aligned. When they don't, issues begin to appear, such as delays, inefficiencies, or incorrect decisions. So, to summarize, modern supply chains are network based, not linear, dynamic, not fixed, data driven, but not always perfectly accurate, and very much dependent on coordination across multiple systems. Understanding these characteristics is key to understanding why supply chains are both powerful and complex.